Hi everyone, today let's talk about Costco. Then we'll go over the Costco charts. If you like trading stocks and options and making money, definitely like and subscribe. This is a new type of content that I'm trying out, so if you like it, definitely let me know down in the comments. Otherwise, hit the bell for my daily content on the overall markets. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. So Costco announced the first monthly same-store sales drop in nearly 3 years. And this continues to go along with the theme that I've been talking about on this channel. The economy is definitely slowing. We've seen multiple reports pointing to that. And this is definitely another piece of evidence. Obviously, this is a retail giant. They sell basically everything and they sell a lot of it. And if they're seeing same-store sales drops, it seems like that's going to be reflected across the economy. They mentioned it was 1.1% month-over-month sales drop. Again, the first time in 3 years that they've seen that. And with that, shares fell 2% after hours on Wednesday. And then here for March, you can see same-store sales fell again 1.5% and then 2.4% in Canada. Internationally, they're still growing at 2%, but e-commerce slid 12.7%. So overall, definitely moving down. The US, with the biggest market here for Costco, still declining. They are expanding around the globe, which should help the stock at least a little bit. In terms of the greater economy, though, this is definitely negative for retailers and negative for the economy. They did talk about the fact that groceries are continuing to do well. People obviously can't go without groceries, and this fits into that consumer staples type environment. And if you've been watching consumer staples, those stocks have been rallying pretty aggressively over the last few days, and it makes sense that their consumer staples portion of the business is still doing well. However, when you move over to discretionary like home furnishings and toys, this is where the company is starting to struggle, but they do mention that healthcare and beauty have held up fairly well in comparison. Overall, Costco is down quite a bit, 13.6% over the last 12 months, which is more than the S&P 500. So let's take a look at that on the charts. Moving over to the charts, starting off with the daily chart here, going all the way back to the lows here from March of 21. This was the COVID low. Huge rally up to about 605, 606 at the peak of the markets for them, which was April of 22. They peaked a little bit after the rest of the markets. The rest of the markets were peaking right in here, December and January, but they were already falling off. They made a new high, and then we started selling off pretty dramatically all the way down to 413, which was prices they hadn't seen going back to July of 21. Then they rallied back into this range, and that's kind of where we've been for basically the last 6 months. You can see we touched the tops, come down, test the bottoms, got very close to the top once again, tested the bottoms. Similar level here on the peak from February. But what's interesting here is we did not retest this lower trend line. We found a double bottom and then rallied. Now we're kind of in this consolidation zone right on top of most of the EMAs and SMAs. Moving into the near term here, you can see that double bottom that we had moved into this rally that got up to the 200 SMA. And then we got that news overnight paired with these wick rejections. And you can see pre-market here, we're trading at 482.50. Certainly a level where you could find some support, but based on the news, you would expect that this is going to come down and retest the lower band, sitting at 459.24. If we can get below that trend, then you're looking at support down at 438.68 or so. Probably not going to move down super quickly, might take a little bit. Support might be over at 436. That would be interesting versus that 439. Not a huge difference there, but be aware these trends do move as the stock moves. And looking at that weakness that we've seen here on the 4-hour chart, you can see the after hours pin all the way down to that 482.50 level right in this zone. Looking at the volume profile, you can see that is below the area of most recent highest volume. Looking at these recent lows at 470 and then that lower trend line that we talked about. Might see a little bit of bounce just on how aggressive this move was to the downside, but overall you would expect that this is going to continue to the downside. And then remember the fact that this is a NASDAQ stock, so this will reflect in the NASDAQ, and of course it's in the S&P 500 as well, but it'll have less of an impact there. And moving over to consumer staples and discretionary, I wanted to highlight the differences we've been seeing here. We talked about how Costco grocery is continuing to do well, and you can see staples doing extremely well going back to Friday the 24th. And since then, it's rallied pretty aggressively over the last few days. Lots of gap, lots of strong movement. And then when you compare that to discretionary here, you can see inside days, big reversal candles, choppy at best, if not bearish, definitely looking lower. Overall, staples looking to push up to $76 if we can get above resistance. And then we have $77.50 up there as well. But looking at discretionary, most likely pushing down to this $141 level back at these previous lows. So it makes sense that grocery with Costco is doing well, and basically the rest of their business is struggling at least a little bit. Full disclosure, looking at my positions here, I was neutral on the NASDAQ going into the day. Like I said, Costco's in the NASDAQ, and the NASDAQ is down quite a bit here in the pre-market session. And I'm probably going to get more short on the NASDAQ going into the rest of the day as well as going into Monday. And then moving over to the options chain here for Costco, you can see we were trading right in this 197.50 level at the close yesterday. And then we talked about pre-market, we're already trading down around this 181, 182 zone, which was basically the entire expected move for next week. So we took out almost that whole move. Like I said, I would expect it to go lower here, but looking at the options for the end of next week, once this drops down to 180, you should probably be able to get a pretty decent credit, probably $1 credit to trade the stock down around 460, which like we said is an area where the stock might find some buyers in that lower zone. Obviously, don't catch a falling knife. The market could continue lower, wait for some consolidation and potential look for a turnaround if you do want to trade it to the bullish side. And then, of course, if you're looking to trade short for the weekly options here on Costco, you're looking at about $6.50 to $7 for the at-the-money calls. You'll be trading those down around the 482 level, but you could certainly get a pretty decent credit here on this stock. Super expensive, so you might want to trade a credit spread, call spread, to help reduce your capital requirement here. But if you're looking to get short, selling a call spread or buying some puts might not be a bad option going into next week's trading. Let me know down in the comments if you like this kind of content. I do like focusing on individual stocks once in a while when there's good news and there's something worth looking at. So if you like this format or if you think I should change anything, definitely put that in the comments. Otherwise, like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video, and make sure you hit the bell so you don't miss out on my daily videos or any future stock analysis videos. Of course, none of this is financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. Good luck in your trading and have a great day.